Welcome to part 2 of turning this 90s beaded bolero into a headband and a bouquet wrap for my client. This bolero belonged to her mother, and she wanted to turn it into something unique that she could wear for her own wedding. And now we're getting into the headband. So I started off by using some satin to just kind of drape onto this headband to get a good shape for this pattern piece. So I take a little bit of time to make sure that everything fits on smoothly. I used a satin with a little bit of stretch so I can really kind of mold it around that shape. And then I interfaced the lining of the headband, which will be the portion touching her hair. So I ended up using the neckline of the bolero for the headband. I was thinking about incorporating those large flowers on the back there, but they're too big for them to translate well onto the thin surface of that headband. So I centered the pattern, made sure that everything was even on both sides. I made sure to line it up right in the center of that neckline and then right in the center of the headband. Spent a little bit of time getting it just right. I think at this point I was pretty satisfied with the placement. And that right there is the finished bouquet wrap. So now as I'm cutting the excess fabric off, I'm making a point of kind of following the pattern of the beading so that I don't unravel more than what is necessary. Turns out that the original seamstress did a great job at reinforcing these beads. So I realized I didn't really need to hammer before. Maybe it was just this portion of the garment that felt a little sturdier, or maybe I just kind of got used to the beads, but there was not much unraveling, but this is what we got. And then at this point, I'm just removing any excess beads that are within the seam allowance, cleaning it up a little bit. And then came the most time-consuming portion of the project, where I pinned in the headband lining and got to hand sewing. I kind of like hand sewing. It always soothes me for some reason. I really should be using a thimble though, but at this point my fingers are so calloused that I don't even feel it when I stab myself. Don't know if that's good or bad. Probably bad. But as you can see, I'm kind of sewing between those rows of beads to hide the stitching to make sure that it gives as seamless of a look as possible. And then here is the final product. The bride loved it. I love it. And let me know what you think.